So this is what it feels like. It feels like my best manifestations have come when I didn't even know, law of attraction was operating. I saw someone post something online a few years ago. It was a beautiful tree. And I thought, I love that tree. And she had just moved into this community. I said, I want to live in a place like that. And I let it go. I never thought about it again. Several months later, my sister took me to a home to look at. It was that community. I now live in that community. I didn't even know that that's what I wanted. And I created it. But I didn't focus on it. Thank you. I didn't focus on it. I wasn't trying every day. I wasn't, I'm really trying right now to get back in the vortex.
There are a lot of people who are creating by default, which means they're not paying attention to how they feel, and they don't know what how they feel means anyway. And so when they don't feel so good about something, that's how it keeps turning out. And when they feel better about something, that's how it keeps turning out. But it is so much more delicious to have hands in the clay, to know exactly what this feeling's going to net and what this feeling's going to net, and to strive for a feeling that feels better and then watch how it plays out. We love saying to you that if you meditate on Monday, it's probably not going to make any major change in your life experience. You might find a little satisfaction, especially if it's one of the first times that you have, but there's not going to be any big momentum that comes from that. And so meditate and get out in the world, and it's going to be pretty much like it was yesterday. But when you meditate on Tuesday, it's probably going to be pretty much like it was on Monday. And when you meditate on Thursday, your day out in the world is going to be pretty much like it was on Monday and Tuesday. But by the time you get to Friday or Saturday or Sunday, the edge is going to be off of you. You're going to find yourself not so edgy. People that have been consistently saying annoying things to you are still going to say the same annoying things. You're just not going to take it the same way. You're going to see them different because you're different, because you've got different momentum. And when you start noticing that happening, then you'll start feeling more balance and rhythm in your life. You talked about getting into the vortex, and we are no longer saying to you, get into the vortex. Instead, we're saying to you, the vortex is right here full of all the stuff you want. Stand in a place where you can receive what's in there. Let the vibrational contents of the vortex come into your deciphering, discerning, translating, receiving experience. So that's what we mean by those emotions that you receive, and then those thoughts that you receive and act on. Some years ago, Esther was booking tickets for several flights, and Jerry was teasing her because she kept putting it off. She just didn't feel like doing it. And he would say, the tickets are going to become more scarce and they're going to become more expensive the longer you wait. He was using motivation tactics, which made Esther say, I know, but it just locked her up more and more, because it didn't inspire to action. It made her ashamed of her past behavior. And so every day she'd get up thinking she was going to do it, and every day there was too much resistance for her to break through. And then one day she'd meditated and she was feeling good, and they'd taken a walk, and all of a sudden she got an impulse to go. And she called the airline. That was many years ago. Instead of getting online, she called the airline, and she had about 10 different cities that she wanted to book. And the woman said, boy, is this your lucky day? These flights were not there half an hour ago. I don't know where they came from. And so Esther's inspiration had led her to something that wasn't there. Your motivation will cause you to rendezvous with different things than your inspiration will, you see.
I love it.
Yeah.
One very, very quick question. I wake up in the morning, every morning, and there's songs in my head. Who is that? What is that? Where is it coming from? I mean, every single day, all day long, starting from when I wake up.
Here's the answer to that, and you're all going to like it. You know how we talked about how when you have a desire, even if you are in a resistant mode, in other words, your desire is causing you pain, still your desire is alive and pulsating, and it's still being answered. And then a bird brings you a message because it's something that you can see with your eyes. It's hard to miss the fact that the bird's sitting where it shouldn't sit, or closer than it usually is, or has its attention on you and seems to be speaking something directly to you, even though you're trying to get it to go away. One day a bird was on the chimney of Esther's guest house, and her daughter was there, and her daughter was trying to get some work done that she didn't want to do. They were on vacation and she was working and she was annoyed about it. And she actually went out and threw rocks at the bird. Just little pebbles. Just little pebbles. But the happy bird was just annoying to her. It was chirping right down the chimney. She just wanted it to go away. Sometimes you're not in the receptive mode, but it doesn't mean that the bird isn't there. The revelation is always there for you. It's the reception that you want to be aware of. And so when you are in the receptive mode, you remember earlier we were talking about how your inner being knows where you are in relationship to everything you want. And here's the answer to your question. And knows your path, because you're the one that puts all the resistance on the path. There's no other resistance. There's no other path than the path that you've created for yourself, and there's nobody else putting resistance on your path. You're putting it all on. So your inner being knows where you stand right now in relationship to everything you want. And further, your inner being knows what your path of least resistance is. And very often your inner being will offer the vibration that you translate into a song. Listen to it, pay attention to it, pay attention to the feeling of it most of all. And once you've got the feeling isolated, once you have calibrated yourself into the feeling of it, very often the thought that song means to you will come into your mind. That is a really wonderful vibration turning to a thought, and a thought turning to a thing.